everyone. Thank you for joining in today's session on future-proofing your career, skills and mindset for success in changing world. And for today's session, we have Rajlakshmi. She is Vice President at Genpact. Rajlakshmi is the Learning Operations Leader at Genpact as well as the Chief of Staff to the CHRO. She has over 20 years of experience across multicultural and metrics organization, leading capability build and consulting businesses in learning transformation, change management, and client management. Her expertise includes talent management, leading transformation project, navigating complex structures, learning technology, and talent marketing. She has been the deputy editor of People Matters magazine before joining Genpact. She is one of the top 40 HRs leaders in India by Jombay. She has also been listed as the top 50 HR influencers in India by SHRM Group. Over to you, Rajlakshmi, for today's insightful session around how a young professional can navigate in this ever-changing job market.
Thank you, Ayushi, and lovely to be here. Just before we get into the topic, and I'm sure everyone is already quite aware and abreast with what is happening around us and why skills are so important. So I've been, of course, I have 20 years of experience, but 10 of those years have been with Genpact. And that is an important fact I wanted to mention because one of the reasons why you will see a lot of people having long tenure in the organization is purely because of the opportunity to learn, explore, grow, and succeed in their careers and really build careers for themselves. So in the 10 years, I've done almost 5 different roles. Every 2 years, there's something new to dwell into, which keeps the opportunity for any individual to learn. And therefore, it's exciting. It's an exciting organization, always staying abreast of the latest. And currently, of course, we are in the midst of driving digital transformation and having an AI-first mindset to solve our client problems. And that is the foundation with which we are going ahead. And that's where the whole conversation of skills in the organization has become so critical. So I'm happy to be here and really talk and share about how in the organization we have approached the objective of building a continuous learning culture and having an ecosystem and a platform that allows all of our 125,000 plus people across 30 countries to really have an opportunity to continuously reskill themselves, assess their skill sets, and stay relevant for jobs and roles in the future. And when I saw the topic skills and mindset to future-proof your career, I realized that what is more relevant than to really start this conversation talking about Genome, which has made reskilling at scale and speed possible in Genpact, right? So a little bit about Genome. We started our journey understanding the need for reskilling and enabling all our people to build new skills and staying updated almost 4.5 years ago. That's the time when we realized that there was a huge shift that was happening in the landscape due to technology coming into everything we do. I like to take a quick analogy of the smartphone because I feel like that is something that everyone understands and gets very quickly. So you all remember the time, and this probably the generation I'm talking to probably doesn't know the generation before smartphones, but to give you context, the smartphone changed the way we experience everything in life. So no one today goes really to a bank. No one really goes to a travel agent to book a vacation. No one goes to, picks up the phone really to book an appointment. Most of these things today are done on apps, done through your phone. It's pretty much on a click, right? It's just changed the way we interact in life. And that changed the way organizations supporting these experiences quickly evolve and update itself to say, how do we make sure that we continue to evolve, because people are not going to take a step back on the experience now they're so enjoying. So as a result, very quickly, we saw this had a back-end impact on how operations happen at the back end of a bank, of a supply chain company, of any industry, you say, to be able to deliver this front-end experience that technology and smartphone generation really made come alive. And that is exactly around the time there was a lot of conversation about how the landscape of skills and the skills that will remain relevant in the future was changing. The World Economic Forum around 2017, 2016 came up with a report talking about, for the first time, made it a common conversation to say that any skills you have today probably will lose half of its value in the next 5 years. And that was an alarm for most organizations, especially organizations like ours, which employs such large number of people who are constantly working on client solutions that was evolving at a very, very fast pace because of tech and digital interventions and transformations. Therefore, Genome came into picture as a learning platform and an engine. We realized we needed something that will not just be a learning program driven approach, but an ecosystem that almost had a continuous way of assessing everyone's skill sets, where they are today and where they need to go like to be in the future, and how is it that they can kind of learn in the flow of work to continuously stay updated, build new skills, and contribute to their evolving jobs. So Genome works on the concept of collective intelligence, which is to say that we realize that there is a power of learning as a collective as opposed to an individual, because things were changing so fast. We needed to ensure that we get into the ecosystem, leverage whoever is there in the ecosystem, leverage the larger internet of world to kind of stay updated, stay relevant on what we need to build. So today, the platform has over 90 skills. And of course, this is not how we started, but given the design of the platform that allows it to evolve and update at speed and scale, making learning available to everyone in the organization, we've built over the years now. Today, Genome supports 90 plus skills, and it has almost 600 plus subject matter experts who are constantly, almost on a daily basis, looking at relevance of content and refreshing the relevance of our people's learning almost real time. And these subject matter experts are not a group of trainers or a group of people managing learning, but it is the leadership of the organization that owns the best practices and the knowledge and has hands-on experience in real scenarios, and they are constantly connected to the learning strategy to bring back the latest and the best to our people, so that our people do not need to wait for them to get updated. So I'll give you an example. The biggest example is the whole generative AI flow that we felt last year, right? When generative AI came into our lives, it moved at a speed that none of us imagined. And because Genpact had a platform called like Genome, we were almost able to spin off a learning curriculum for all our employees within a couple of weeks to ensure that all our people are generative AI literate, right? Which means they have access to learning, they have the opportunity to go through the latest and the best in the industry. And generative AI is a very unique example because unlike all other skills, this is something that is evolving on the go. And no one knows enough, no one knows everything, but everyone is doing their best to stay up to speed on what's the latest, right? So we were able to launch this last year very, very quickly. And within a month of generative AI becoming a part of our lives, we almost had about 60,000 plus people already learning. And if I look at the data today, almost 110,000 plus employees are actively learning the skill, and we have more than 78,000 courses that have been completed. And the numbers just show the sheer volume and the speed at which we are able to build a new skill, which is primarily done to ensure that our people are relevant, they find meaningful roles, they're able to contribute and add value to the jobs that they do today, even as the landscape is changing. So now that's the job we do in the organization, constantly looking at data, constantly looking at the needs, constantly looking at the changing landscape, and how do we make sure that skilling becomes not an activity we do once or twice in the year, but learning on different skills is something that everyone does in the flow of work, as and when I can find some time. So there's emphasis on the need for continuous learning. And that said, if you look at it, the same World Economic Forum, since the time they called out the need for focusing on skills, every year they have been doing research. And the latest, as they say, is that almost we are seeing that with AI now, we're going to see 85 million jobs changing in the next coming years, and about 95 million new jobs that will emerge. And we don't know yet what are those 95 million jobs going to be. We don't know all of it. We know few, we know some, it's evolving. And I want to leave that statement with all of you as you are starting out on your career, especially because that kind of makes you reflect that, therefore, what should we learn, right? How? I mean, the question to what should I learn today to get the right job, to build the right career in the next 2, 4, 6, 10 years? Now, the answer to that is there is no absolute response to what that will be, because what we are, the age and day we are in today is that of a continuously evolving and transforming landscape, because technology is changing very, very fast. And as technology changes, and as we try to deploy technology and bring transformation to the work that we do, the skills that people will need will also continue to evolve. Now, with that, therefore, what is it that we as people who are starting on our career, where should we focus on? How should we approach this? And that's the biggest one. So biggest question in all our minds, right? I'll start with the first one is the fact that now is going forward, it is only the age of continuous learning. Adaptability and being able to learn is going to be the biggest skill that all of us will need. And I'll take an example. I mean, I started my career and I belong to an era where we thought that if we finished our graduation and our masters, our professional education is going to ensure we last throughout our career. That stayed true for probably the first 10 years of my career. After that, we started experiences in small ways. How every few years we needed to upskill ourselves to do the job, the job better and faster and more efficiently, and be able to deliver more value. Now that speed has become even faster, that today I'm in the learning function. However, as a learning function, my domain expertise today is probably HR and learning. However, is that enough for me to do the job that I do? I just gave you the example of Genome, which is completely tech-enabled, which completely rides on our ability to look at data, tech, and AI in transforming how learning happens in a large enterprise. And if that is where I need to add value as an individual, if I say I just understand learning and development, that's not going to be enough. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be able to continuously learn, be open to the fact that it is never over. You will always have something new to pick up and build. So yeah, life is going to be constantly very, very exciting. The other thing is that there is this emerging concept of the importance of trilingual capabilities today. So I may have a deep domain on learning and development in HR. However, like the example I just gave you, unless just knowing that may not be enough for me to do the whole job. I need to be able to understand just enough technology, have enough technical proficiency or digital literacy, if you would like to call that, understand data adequately to be able to really look at data, learning data, engagement data, and be able to really deliver business results from what I'm deriving from the learning movement in the organization, right? So a combination, and then of course when you are trying to move at speed and you're trying to work on tech projects, you cannot do that alone, because I don't understand technology. I need to partner with people whose domain is tech, and therefore I need to collaborate and work in cross-functional teams much more than one needed to before. So as we are speaking, the kind of jobs or the kind of skills that are emerging when we talk about trilingual capability, and that is going to be a different permutation combination for different jobs. Similarly for doctors, right? Similarly for engineers. You at one point in time, being a doctor was enough, but today, even as a doctor, they need to understand tech because they have the most sophisticated technology to do and play of robotics happening in taking medical science to the next level. So if you are a doctor who only understands the science of medicine, that's never enough. So if you look, and then you have to, some of it you will build yourself, some of it you will leverage from the expertise of other people. And that's how the ability to collaborate and work as teams become so important. And as we do that, then we work with more people, and we have technology to do a lot of our, well, manual or those process kind of work which are repeatable. As automation and technology takes over some of that, what will happen, what is happening already, I would say, is the skills that are more relevant or important for individuals in the workplace is the ability to think critically, right? The ability to solve problems. Now, those are things AI still cannot do. You still need to define the problem for AI, right? And that is where whatever course you're studying, whatever your curriculum has been, as you now prepare for jobs in the market, the real world, things that will really be useful is your ability to understand digital data, tech, AI, your ability to collaborate and work as teams more than individually, your adaptability quotient, and the ability to learn continuously. So no more like, are you reading enough every day? Are you learning enough every day? Right? Is very important, because that's the pace at which things are changing in the world. Your communication ability, right? Both verbal as well as written. There is a saying that you may have already heard, that the most important language in coding today is communication, is written communication. If you're able to write, if you're able to articulate, you're going to be that much better in being able to interact with tech and AI in a more efficient way. And then, of course, like I said, critical thinking and problem solving are going to be core parts of any industry, any profession that you join. So if that is happening today, how do you really prepare and get started as young individuals for this, new road ahead of you. You probably have done this in your college and in your courses, but focus on application. Any opportunity you can get to really get your hands dirty on doing the job, as opposed to just reading theory, will be a hugely beneficial. Uh, your network with people, seek mentors from the industry, use social media to know what's happening where, work on platforms, and some of you who may already be on the coding journey, I would say the GitHub platform, for example, is a great example of how hands-on collaboration learning happens in bytes on a daily basis. And that is pretty much the fabric that any learning and your learning in your life is going to be like super, super critical for you to do that. So all of that now needs to come together. It's a tough question to answer, to say, how do you future proof? But my only submission would be that if you're open to learning, and if you are open to trying new things, if you go deep in a few subjects and are open to collaborate and share and leverage each other's strengths, that is the true source of all of us being in the game to really stay ahead of this curve. So hopefully you all found some of that useful. So not to say that your education and whatever you've done, it has created, it's not useful, right? I mean, of course, that is the foundation that you have built so far. But the day and age that we are in today, that's not enough. What is required is for you to now put all of that learning into application. Try and work with people who will always challenge you, who will force you to think of solving problems, push you to think critically and solve complex problems, because that, and be able to connect the dots. It's very, very important to be able to step back and be able to connect the dot. And that is how all of us are going to bring true value to wherever we go, right? Whatever job it is and whatever area we all choose. So go and meet up people, seek mentorship from people, do your internships, get the right projects, stay connected, read a lot. I think all of that will come together to ensure that you are right in the game.
Thank you, thank you. This was really insightful. We hope that everyone really enjoyed and find it really insightful as well. This definitely adds up and for students' perspective. So I'm just starting to ask you some of the questions. There's the number one question is that what are the top three skills that students should focus on developing while still they are in college or they have just graduated, and that would help them to future proof their in the job market?
I mean, I did mention a few of them. So the top will be adaptability and continuous learning. And then within that, I would say, I don't think anyone is going to escape the whole tech and AI play. So some level of technical proficiency. I know not everyone probably takes on to it very easily, but some will take on to it easier than most others, or vice versa. But everyone today needs to have foundational knowledge of technology and AI for sure. And as sooner you start it better, because in our younger days we are able to learn way faster and much easier than as we get into the job, etc. Collaboration and teamwork, and hopefully that is something students are already doing, because that is one reason why in colleges people are put into different project teams to work with each other. And the idea is not that you're working, and when the whole concept is that as you work together as a team, what are you learning? What are you learning about different human behaviors? What are you learning about why is it sometimes easy for some people to just work with anybody, and some people find it difficult? And it's not to say what is right and wrong, but you should be able to gauge where are your strengths and where are your shortcomings, and how do you play both to your strength? right? As human beings, some of the things we won't be able to change for ourselves, but awareness of what is my strength and what is not my strength can go a huge way in ensuring that you play to what works to your advantage. Communication skills, I can't stop enough about communication skills, because everything, like you talk about generative AI today, if most students would have probably tried the OpenAI ChatGPT platform, and the whole power of the output and the value you get from ChatGPT today is your ability to write prompts. Now, what is whether you write in Hindi or whatever, because it's now available in different languages and it's voice enabled, right? However, your articulation and therefore your command over communication, written and verbal, is going to be hugely important. And it ties into also you communication is also critical as you look at what are you going to do when you go to a job market, right? You're going to solve problems. Now, to solve problems, you need to be able to identify complex problems, articulate the problem, break it down into smaller chunks for the team to be able to solve it. All of this, you're going to use communication every day. So I think a bunch of these things together will be the differentiator for everyone.
Thank you. That's really great. Second question that the students are really asking right now is that how students or young professionals start building their professional network.
I would say start with platforms like this, right? Your participation in a lot of these virtual fairs is your gateway to getting to know people in the professional work, first of all. But yeah, platforms can only introduce. Ultimately, then it is on the individual to see where they take that relationship. Don't shy away from reaching out to, people in the industry. If you've bumped into them in a conference, or you've connected with them on a social platform. If you feel that you think you need help, or you have questions for and if someone with experience can help you, don't shy away from reaching out. I think a lot of times we feel that we wait for the problem to be big enough to go and bother someone, but trust me, sooner is better than later. Why wait for the problem to become big? And no question is a bad question when you're reaching out to someone from a guidance and a mentorship approach, right? So as students, one of the things, a mistake they do is they only tend to look at their professional network when they're looking for a job. Networks, just like relationships, don't get built overnight. You have to invest in it. So go to the right platforms, seek the right internships. Internships are great because you work in projects, you get introduced to a few more people, you understand the culture of an organization, gives you a lot of insight about how companies work as well, prepares you for the job market. So all of that together, I think, will be hugely beneficial.
Thank you. And we have one more question, that what are some emerging industries or job roles that young professionals should be aware about?
Data, anything in data is there is scarcity of talent there. So let's put it that way, right? Cybersecurity, sustainability, healthcare technology, data security, data analyst, AI. These are all emerging jobs. Some of the emerging jobs we are aware of, where we know we don't have enough talent. Not to say that the other jobs are not there. They are, all of that is there. But where the market is really hot right now is some of these skills where we are struggling to find ready talent. So if you are someone, say, for example, you've done science, or if you've done commerce, regardless, if you can layer your domain understanding and the professional curriculum with understanding of data, or just use of tech, little bit of tech, and I'm not even going to sophisticated tech. I'm just saying, just become expert at Excel and some basic coding. I think it can take everyone to a long way, especially if we constantly looking for students who come with that open mindset to say, I know HR, I know I've worked with data. I can, use Excel really well. It's very difficult to find that trilingual capability today. And so if you can crack that, I think anyone in the market will grab.
Thank you. Thank you. So with this, we are coming short of time as well. So thank you. Thank you so much for taking out your time and making everyone aware about the current job skills that are required in the ever-changing landscape of the job market. This was a very insightful session. So thank you.